You know how people will like cross stitch,
Yes.
like Bible quotes?
Yes.
I want to cross stitch of that one.
That. And it's just instead of like Luke 4:12.
Yeah, it's Kirk 1:10.
Yes. Captain Spot, Stardate 2528 66.9. Welcome aboard the Starship Enterprise, and thank you for joining us on our continuing voyages through the final frontier. I'm your Captain Ian Whittington, and with me as always, she's very used to supporting a dead crew and a wrecked ship. It's Ambassador Deneé.
Are you indicating that everyone in my life is just a zombie?
No, I'm indicating the listeners of this show are dead. Specifically.
Wake up, people.
Wake up. Wait, is that how you wake up a dead person? You just tell them to wake up?
Yeah.
Explains so much about zombie movies.
Honestly, that would be my first approach. Everything else requires too much energy. Just start low and easy. Just like, hey, it's morning.
I think you do. That is the first.
Up.
That's the first bit of like first aid is the like slapping them and.
There's just a little bit of activity. Hello.
Wake. Here's some coffee. Anyway, we're continuing our season of the best ever episodes of Star Trek as decided by the internets. And before we get into this week's episode, which is Balance of Terror, we're going to revisit an episode that we would have covered in this season had we not already covered it. Do you remember? And I'm laughing because it just happened. The Best of Both Worlds.
Best of both worlds. No.
Nope. We'll get sued.
No, I don't.
You are kidding.
No, I from just that title, I don't have any.
The Best of Both Worlds Part 1 and Part 2.
Cool. Glad we watched it.
Okay, what happened in that episode?
I have no idea.
Okay, it's Captain Picard focused.
Okay.
What could the Best of Both Worlds be referring to?
Borgisms.
Yes.
Is it the whole Locutus thing?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's that two-parter. Yeah.
What a terrible title.
Are you fucking kidding me right now? It's a perfect title.
Is it?
Yes.
Borg, best, I don't know.
It's the best elements of both worlds because they need Locutus. They need the one who speaks.
But wasn't it Data that destroyed them?
Yes.
So they didn't need Picard.
What? No, the Borg needed Picard to take over. They think they needed Picard to be a vessel to make the taking over of humanity easier.
So how is that the best of both worlds? Oh, from their perspective.
Because he's a hybrid.
From the Borg's perspective, it's the best of both worlds.
It's the best of both worlds.
From our perspective, is not.
No, we're just losing Picard. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying it's terrible.
Yeah, the best of both worlds. It's actually number one on a lot of people's lists.
Oh, wow.
It's basically always in the top 5. I wanted to take this opportunity to say that we will not be doing any two-parters in this season. We could have very easily done the Chain of Command, and I was very tempted to. But I think we're actually going to do a season of two-parters. It just feels like a better way to do it rather than taking up 2 slots. Oh my gosh, the Ambassador just nearly vomited.
I might say yes to that if we do them all as one episode.
I would think that's the opposite of what you would say yes to, because now you're asking for more work.
Yeah, I just don't know that I want to split them up, like with a week in between.
Well, they weren't meant to be split up. Like it would be how they were broadcast.
We don't live in those times anymore. So.
Fair, that's fair. But back to the Best of Both Worlds. You see why it's in the top 10? I can't remember if you really enjoyed it or not. I think you liked Part 1.
Let's see. Here's the things that are coming to mind right away. A baby shelf.
Nope. That's in Q Who.
God damn it.
That's the wrong one. That is a Borg episode, but that's Q Who.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so it might be what you're thinking is that in Q Who, they open up this little shelf and there's a baby inside with robot bits on it. Yeah, that's Q Who. But they open up a very similar compartment and that has Picard's uniform in it. But there's no baby Borg in the Best of Both Worlds.
Okay, that's helping to narrow down my memories.
Well, you think Q Who should be in this list, clearly.
Are there any Q episodes in the top list?
Yeah, Q Who and one other.
That we're going to cover, I bet.
That we're going to cover.
Okay. I would be shocked if we didn't cover anything from Q in the tops.
I wasn't gonna get into this right now, but the Q episodes actually don't appear very heavily in the top of the list, even though they're some of my favorites.
Is it because they're so annoying?
I think it's because they're a bit gimmicky and annoying, but there is one that did appear in multiple lists, and it was really tricky for me to pick what our final episode of the season was going to be, because honestly, everything 1 through 9 was a no-brainer. It was just about where to put it. But now I'm getting into the
10
to
30.
What people think the 7, 8, 9th is. And when you get to like 7, 8, 9, 10, they interchange and they bounce around so much. So I've had to narrow it down to 3 episodes, and the tie break was going to IMDb and just seeing which one was highest on IMDb, and that decided it.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Jesus! See if you can figure it out from those hints.
Yeah, I can definitely see why this would be in the top. The tension that it builds, the intrigue of this, the bad guys that are just sort of these drones.
The cliffhanger.
Seeing the interior of a different kind of a ship. I don't remember the cliffhanger.
Well, the cliffhanger was they've modified the deflector dish, and they have one shot to destroy the ball cube. And Shelby, remember Shelby, blonde lady?
No.
Wants Riker's job.
Yes.
You do and then run around me again, I'll snap you back so hard you'll think you're a first-year cadet.
Oh, yeah.
Riker gets really sassy with her.
Yeah.
You're in my way. How terrible.
Yeah, I remember
you.
liking her.
Yeah, she's great. She's incredible. Shelby and Worf want to go back and rescue Picard, and Riker's like, there's no time. We're just going to have to blow it up. And Locutus does the number 1, and then Riker goes, fire. And then it's roll credits. And at that point, they didn't know if they didn't know if Patrick Stewart was coming back for season 4.
What an ending that would have been.
Yeah. And then you have to wait.
Yes, and I remember when we started watching the next episode, you were like super obsessed with Riker's hair.
Yeah, because it's changed, because they didn't film. So the writer didn't even think he was coming back. So he wrote them a great ending, and then he had no expectation of writing the conclusion. Just like,
and he had to
job,
fix
fuckers.
all of his problems.
Yeah, and he had to fix it. So they didn't, usually you would film 2-parters, at least the next scene concurrently if it's a cliffhanger, but they went in raw. Yeah, completely different. So he has new hair.
I just don't know that I'm ever going to forgive TNG for messing with Captain Picard like that.
I love that. I love that that's your take on it. It's big.
I think the dynamic character is so important, and remembering that these characters experience trauma too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just interjecting this like, no, make him a little safe bubble. But there's just, he goes through so much trauma.
Yeah.
Like, how do you even play a character like Picard if you're trying to accumulate all of the trauma and there's no counsel, there's no resolution? Like, having an entire family and then they go away, becoming a Borg, like all of these things. And every week you tune in and you just sort of reset. And you're like, here's Captain Picard. And he's just the first version of him. And then there really wasn't like in a movie or whatever, you would see sort of this degradation of the character by the end, and then maybe like an arc for them to come back to their true self somehow. But in these episodics, it's every week I kind of forget that he's been through so much shit. Yeah,
which is kind of what they want you to do.
Yeah.
And I think we have seen the most traumatic episode for Picard, but the one that we haven't seen is a close second.
And that's the one that you're sparing me from?
No. We will be watching that at some point. But it's a close... I could make an argument that...
Tell the people who it is. What it is.
It's Chain of Command. I would argue that is more traumatic because as Locutus, there's like a powerlessness to it and he kind of takes a back seat and that sucks. But in Chain of Command, he's still in the driver's seat. Like he's still conscious and pretty aware. Anyway, we'll get into that. Chain of Command is incredible.
What are we doing for this episode?
So, this week, we're staying in TOS Season 1, Episode 14/15, depending on how things are numbered with the pilot. Balance of Terror. Ambassador, give us a prediction. I will say we have referenced this episode many times, and there is a version of this episode we've already seen.
And then he takes this, like, delightful, knowledgeable... eyebrow wagging sip of his coffee while he looks at me and says, do something with that, Ambassador.
Everything about that sip said, you're in my way, from Shelby.
Oh boy. Balance of terror. I'm seeing scales. The balancing act. Terror on one side. More terror on the other.
You said scales and I heard like Gorn scales. And I was like, I'm not literally showing you the same episode we've already seen.
What was the Gorn episode called?
Arena.
Ah, it should just be
was called Balance of Terror.
You know, how do you balance terror in your life? I think counseling, if this is not a counseling episode, you know,
Oh.
where there's a conversations about how to manage the word terror in a situation, in a circumstance, I would be disappointed.
That's going to be a stretch since there is not a counselor on board Kirk's Enterprise.
And there's really not a lot of discussion about the, mental load of what it means to be a captain of a ship. So I don't expect that to happen, but...
That is something TOS explores, the burden of being a captain.
Huge decision has to be made. Huge. Big.
Oh.
Okay. And the decision to do it or to whatever is happening, the circumstances, is terrifying, but you have to face it. And so there's like a justification for action. That's what I'm thinking. You're smiling in a way you usually try to hide.
So I love the human brain, and I think your brain is a fantastic example of the subconscious mind at work, and how there are things we store that we do not recall consciously, but inform how we think. Like, it is such a hard thing to like experiment on. Like, I can't think of a modality where you could like really experiment on that, but the evidence of that is really fun. Like, when I see it in action, it's really fun.
So what do you mean by that? Do you mean like, that I have no memory of what we're talking about, but I'm like so spot on that it's freaking you out a little bit?
No, I know that you have no conscious memory right now.
Right.
But I know the fact that we have seen the episode I'm referring to means it's right at the back in there.
So you think I'm pulling from knowledge.
And it's whispering to you.
See, for me, I'm just thinking about the words balance of terror, because as a writer and as a content creator, when you're trying to drill down an episode into just a couple of words, like, it's the words say so much. So I'm just focusing on those two things. So you're right.
Which terror do you want?
There's a right. And so I'm making a deductive reasoning from that. I'm kind of like reading into it a little bit. But then you're right. There is part of my brain that's activated/deactivated.
And that's what I mean about being able to experiment on it, because it could purely be 100% deductive reasoning, supposition, could absolutely be that predictive skill. Could also be what I'm saying about you pulling from subconscious, or a balance of both terrifying things.
Yes.
Okay, let's head to the holodeck and watch the episode. We'll see y'all in 10 forward
what just happened to you?
Debrief, all right?
Oh my God, are you all right? Are you okay?
Hey, Ma. Go wind up the TV tube.
Did you just say I'm going to wind up the TV tube?
Yeah, that's what you did to the TVs back in the day. Go wind up the TV tube. Welcome to 10 Forward, the part of the show where we grab something from the replicator and share our immediate thoughts and feelings on the episode we just watched. Most important question first. Ambassador, what thing would you like from the replicator?
No, most important question first.
Oh, okay.
When the fuck did I see this episode before?
Oh, that is the most important question, but we will get there.
Oh, okay. So what do I want from the replicator? The tears of a wedding unseen. There was not really anything consumed in this episode, was there?
No, but it doesn't have to be something consumed.
I know. I just like it. I would like replicated Spock's exact eye makeup shade.
That is what I will have to do. Purple.
That kind of like, it's like not quite blue.
Yeah.
Not quite purple. It's a little azure.
No, it's a great makeup job. I would like some castrodinium, please. The hardest substance known to our science.
Not after the plasma gets to it.
No, that happens in TNG as well. Geordi brings up a piece of like tritanium or something and then crumples it in his hand. Like, it's always perfectly preserved, but then molecularly like broken down. I mean, I love it when Star Trek does that shit.
Yeah, 100%.
Give us, if you can, a synopsis.
Okay, this synopsis is going to be a lot of assumption. But in today's episode, we get to see what Romulans actually look like. And shock and awe, oh my God, they're basically Spockies.
Yes.
They're Vulcans, but they're not Vulcans. But are they Vulcans? We get to learn potential incredible history of the bloodline of the Vulcan race and how it is still Vulcan, but not Vulcan. This crazy warmongering, but also very respectful group of people that are out there destroying Earth asteroids on the neutral zone, and what is the Enterprise going to do about it? Are they going to defend themselves? They do, but in the best game of cat and mouse in star history.
Right? Isn't it just?
Did I do it? Is it okay?
That was great.
Okay?
Perfect.
Am I right?
Synopsis.
Is this like is the big thing about this episode that we see what Romulans look like.
This is the first time we ever hear about the Romulans. Yes.
Oh my God.
First introduction of the Romulans. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
This is it. This is the one.
And is that the OG Warbird?
Yeah, that's the original. Right? Uh-huh.
Because it looks so different on the ones that I've seen. Because my introduction was in TNG World.
Yeah, the D-Pterodactyls. They look completely different.
I don't know what that means. What is a D-Pterodactyl?
The D-Pterodactyl is the
green ones?
shape, the green ones that like with the big hole in the middle and the nose.
The actual warbird.
The actual warbirds, yes.
The ones that I'm used to seeing. They look
Correct.
birdie.
Yes.
This one just had a birdie painted on it.
Just had a birdie painted underneath, yeah.
Very Aztec looking, I thought.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At first I thought, is that like a totem? What is that? Like, I didn't quite get it. And then it was a fuller, it was like more full shot.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, that is a bird.
It's a full unfurled bird. I don't know why that's scary in space, but
it had so many indicators of like, okay, they're disappearing. Well, I know the Romulans do that. And then like advanced weaponry, I didn't remember this particular kind of weapon. I don't know if it ever appears again because it's kind of OP.
No, it's not. This is like they're experimenting with this new weapon. And I think they abandoned it after this because
it took too much power.
It took too much power and the range isn't great if you're destroying a base. Earth ships can outrun it.
So is the idea then that this ship was kind of sent on a little bit, the Romulan ship was sent on a mission to go test this weapon. It didn't go well. And so then the iteration of the next ship is like the evolution of the one we just saw. So this is like the prototype. Is that kind of, because the bird of prey that I'm used to seeing is so much better.
Well, we're 100 years separated, or we're 80 years separated from that as well. So that's just 80 years of technological development. That it's not like a direct line from this. But yeah, this ship was specifically sent out because they hadn't interacted with humans for 100 years. It's like, did we develop way ahead of them? Or did they develop way ahead of us? Like, where are we at? So it is testing how strong the humans are. And if they're weak, that means that this particular Praetor, the leader of the Romulans, if the humans are weak enough, then we can invade. So it's a bit of like testing the waters a little bit. But if they destroy our ship and this weapon has no effect on them, this is not a good time to invade. That's why it's so crucial what Kirk has to choose to do with this ship. It is my favorite tactical episode of Star Trek with also a moral question underneath of, do you attack to prevent a war? Because if you let the ship go home and you don't fight, sure, that was the safe thing to do in the moment, but then that emboldens the Romulans and it means, oh, they're a bunch of scaredy cats. We can go and kill them.
And in this case, Kirk actually, they got away. And it was their own destruction kind of focus that brought them back out of the neutral territory. Because they weren't in the neutral zone when...
No, they were in the neutral zone and Kirk was on the Federation side.
Right. So, but then they came out of the neutral zone...
To finish
the job.
Yeah.
And that's when he got him.
But I think the Romulan commander knew that.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, he knew that because he said earlier, like, part of me wishes to die before we go home to prevent the war. And I think that's why he gives into that, the blue Centurion guy.
Right.
Because he's like, sure, I know what's going to happen. They're not actually dead, but if we attack, we'll fall into their trap and they'll kill us preventing the war. That's what I think. Because all the way up until that point, he's been toe-to-toe for Kirk.
Right.
And they've exchanged. Kirk's made mistakes.
And he outmaneuvered Kirk.
They've outmaneuvered each other. That last bit, he's just a reluctant, we attack. He's resigned to it. He wants to go home, but then he's like, actually...
Wow.
Yeah, it's
cool.
Such a layered episode.
Yeah,
it's
that's
so great.
Maybe on the 7, the how many watches you've got, you're like really getting into more of it.
For sure.
But yeah, I'm excited to talk about this episode. I can definitely see why it's a top. It's a 4-pipper for me. Let's just skip to the end.
Yes! It's so amazing. It is so validating. Like, it's almost like I wrote the episode. That's how invested I am in like showing it to somebody else.
Right.
And like, does this just hold up because I fucking love Star Trek?
No,
but
this is really fun.
Fantastically written, paced episode. So to hear you
I love
immediately be like, oh fuck yeah, this is great.
Listen, by the end of this episode, when Kirk is strutting down the hallway, I'm like, that's my fucking captain.
That's my guy.
Go.
That's my man.
And then I have to go and be like, I'm so sorry, Picard, to betray you in that brief moment. You are actually my captain. But I found myself really enjoying Kirk. Like, this is maybe my favorite Kirk episode.
Ditto. Because I think it is for me as well.
It shows this tactician level. It shows like
he's
willing to think about the the balance of what's in front of him and weigh those things. He's holding counsel and getting people's opinions.
He listens to people.
Yeah, and he defends his crew. He's not about bigotry. So it really showed a diversity to him. And in an episode like this, you find yourself as a viewer going, oh, I'm getting really comfortable with this person in charge. If I was on that ship, I'm suddenly very happy to be on Kirk's ship.
And I love that. That's one of our comfort things about TNG, is that's how Picard is consistently throughout the entire show. Kirk is a bit up and down depending on what the story needs him to be.
Right.
But in this, he's vulnerable, he's confident, he's a tactician, he's respectful, and it's a deliberate. I think the Romulan commander brings it out of him in the script. Like, they deliberately want these two captains to be equals, which means you have to bring Kirk up to the level of this Romulan commander that's a bit more stoic. So I'd love Kirk to be this consistent throughout. This is my favourite version of Kirk. He's incredible in this episode. I love it. Ambassador, I do want to, before we get, we're already gushing. We're doing it so much we can't help it. It's a sign of a great episode. I do want to talk to you about the fact that we've seen this episode before.
Yeah, let's talk about that because I kept looking at it, and so when the view screen came on, and I saw that it was a saw the imagery, because I was thinking, okay, so this is someone I've seen before. I thought to myself, Spock's dad? Wait, is this the episode where he has to fight Kirk? No, we've already seen that episode. When did I see this? I said
we've seen a version of it.
Right.
We've seen a different perspective of this. Okay. I'm grinning so much because it is still my favorite episode of Strange New Worlds. So season 1 ends with an episode called Equality of Mercy. And Captain Pike is desperately trying to prevent his own death. He's trying to do the math and work out, how do I prevent myself dying from this radiation shit being taken out of action by suffering from the radiation stuff. A future version of him arrives and says, I'm from a future where you succeed. Look what happens. And he makes Pike relive or live through this episode. He jumps him ahead in time because Pike doesn't have the accident. He's in charge of the Enterprise during this episode. And Kirk is on the Farragut, and between the two of them, they have the same conversations and go through all of this. Pike is firmly pushing to retreat and avoid the battle because surviving the radiation stuff or avoiding it has made him, it's not just that it's made him wary, he's just a different style of captain to Kirk. So Pike is retreat, back off. Kirk is fucking attack. We need to kill this ship so that it doesn't go back and start a war. In this version, the Romulan does get away and immediately returns with an armada of warbirds and Romulan ships. And it starts this war that is crippling for the Federation, for Starfleet, and just basically ruins them. So this is a turning point in history where if Kirk is in charge, it goes one way. If Pike is in charge, it goes another. Oh. So Pike has to, he's like, okay, I won't fuck with the future. Fine. The future that I think I should be in may not be the best one. And it de-escalates him trying to avoid his own accident. So yeah,
That's
we watch almost all of this episode. There's different bits and pieces, but
I want to rewatch that episode now.
100%. We should go and do it right now because you'll appreciate it so much. No,
you told me we were going to play Minecraft today.
Yeah. But what on the view screen, something they do absolutely shot for shot remake that gave me tingles is when the Romulans first appear on screen and everyone looks to Ethan Peck and they do the zoom in and they do the lights on Ethan Peck's eyes, which you never see in modern TV. And he does the eyebrow and is like, huh. And they have the same accusation stuff, but it's Ortegas this time that's throwing all of the shade at Spock.
Oh my God, we totally need to rewatch it. I have no memory of it.
And I would never have let you watch that episode before watching this, but we watched Strange New Worlds live as it happened.
Yeah.
I had no idea what they were going to pull, and they
I think it's important. Listen,
perfectly.
There is no right way to watch Star Trek. And I feel like this show is the great experiment of that because we're just doing it in the order that we sort of feel is right. And so I'm watching things out of order, but then I wouldn't have this moment where this is the one I'm probably going to remember over the other one.
I mean, and that's how it should be. This is the birth.
And you were worried that I was like in the back of my skull somewhere.
Yeah.
I have no memory of that episode you're talking about.
That's amazing.
So how do you feel about my prediction now?
Oh, your prediction is incredible. And I'll push back a little bit. The subconscious, you may have no awareness. That's how the subconscious works.
Yeah, it's back there just doing its thing.
It's just doing its thing. But yeah, the one that made me smile so much was have to manage the terror of a huge decision that has to be made. A decision and consequences of the action are huge and have massive consequences, but it's a decision that has to be made. Like, that's exactly what it is.
That's exactly what it was.
He has to choose. It is either play it safe, retreat, maybe that avoids a war, or counterintuitively attack to prevent a war to show strength.
This kind of an episode's really interesting because it's got so much history in it. Watching it like I just watched it is an episode of TNG and then we move on. But if you stop and you think about all of the things that happen because of this episode in Star Trek canon going forward, that the franchise does so much with Romulans going forward,
yes,
and it does so much with Warbirds going forward. Like, this is the start of something that turns into an entire blowout of world building. And just watching this episode standalone was just like, okay, that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really wild that
it's crazy. It's not a Romulan introduction episode. It's not.
No.
Here's the lore of the Romulans and whatnot. It is an excellent episode
that turned into this huge.
Yeah, and underneath it you have the lore that is held true in TNG, and everything builds on the stuff we know in this episode. And I would say one of the things that like I wrestle with in my brain is like, is it because it's a cool concept, or is it a cool concept just because we've had a lot of it shown to us? But this could have been any random alien, but they chose to link it to Spock. Like, they chose to introduce this subset species offshoot of Vulcans. And it's like, it's not the sort of thing I would do just like haphazardly and then never revisit. Like, of course you want to revisit an offshoot of Vulcans. So to give them this much care and thought and mirror them after the Romans,
right?
Obviously Romulans and Remus and Turians and Praetors, and how much of the Romulan DNA is in this episode that is barely like changed in TNG. Like, everything is just this episode but a bit more.
It's really fun. Like, we're in this it's like we're looking back in time and we can watch the episode just for what it is. But we have to, and this is one of my points, is we have to talk about how the franchise changed after that. Kind of like the introduction of Borg. You introduce an interesting thing, and then it turns into this whole other storytelling. And how much of it was intentional, like, I don't know. I wasn't in those rooms. But when I'm thinking about Romulans with TNG, I'm thinking about like how they do their uniforms and how they're very similarly designed to this, or
you can see the evolution there,
right? And that they're like, let's just modernize it this way. They have kind of a sash on one side; it's very pleated and almost like
the
carpetry,
scales.
Sort of. Yeah, there's like a upholstery carpet vibe to the fabric that they use, and then this tie into Vulcan. It's so fun because, of course, the audience is going to be shocked to see Spock, and the introduction of this idea of a spy and the immediate, it's a really brilliant storytelling, but then, and that's just episodic, but then it's really brilliant story or world building rather, to see what they've done with it. And we have that perspective now.
Oh, we do. And to see the neutral zone on screen.
Yeah.
And you just think about how important the neutral zone is in TNG and how many, I mean, we haven't even seen all of them together, but how many encounters there are at the neutral zone. And the fact that Picard is always like, it's a game of chess with the Romulans, that entire ethos comes from this episode and the game of chess that Kirk and, how do I not know his name? Because he doesn't have a name. It's just Romulan Commander, that's why.
Oh, wow.
My brain just like, did I just space an incredible Romulan's name? No, I didn't. But honestly, there are great Romulan episodes. None encapsulate, for me, the game of chess and tactics that this episode has. But to stay on your first main point, it is an incredible lesson in world building, but not at the expense of a great episode. Like, this immediately expanded the galaxy of Star Trek. So I now know that there is a border between the rest of the galaxy and the Romulan Star Empire. I know that there was a war between Starfleet and the Romulans about 100 years before Kirk.
Was it with the Vulcans?
No. It was Starfleet and the Romulans. There was a big war 100 years prior. I know that the Romulans are an offshoot of the Vulcans. I know what I have such a feel for what they are as a culture, and that's all just through this clever dialogue as well. It's nothing. There is so much exposition in here that I don't realize is exposition because it's just in the universe.
There's literally a moment when he's like Spock, and Spock's like, "Okay, everybody, it's time to sit down for your history lesson," and it like broadcasted the whole entire ship as, "You might remember this," and it has these little like moments of everybody gathering on their view screens and just. Kind of understanding, and then Kirk ends it by going, "And we're dispendable. Okay, bye."
Yeah. By the way, we all die before there's another galactic war. Okay, bye.
Yeah. Just we're in a very serious situation right now. But
I love setting that expectation.
Sets the mood. I mean, it sets it all up. What a way to kick off a wedding.
Yeah. Mark Leonard, as the first Romulan we see on screen. What's interesting about you saying Spock's dad? The same actor that plays Spock's dad.
Is it?
Yeah.
No.
In TNG. So at the end, I think, let me just check what episode he's introduced.
Way.
Yes,
he
same
looks
actor.
so familiar to me. That is
as he
now
should.
That is the subconscious brain doing some shit.
Yeah, it is.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's Mark Leonard. He is Star Trek legend. He will continue to play Spock's dad Sarek throughout TNG.
Oh my god! Now that freaks me out.
Same actor.
Because that's the subconscious doing stuff that...
Yeah, you just pulled out Spock's dad and I was like, did you?
That's the level of weirdness where he was so... His face was so familiar to me, and he had this tenderness in how he delivered his material.
Voice. It's his voice that really does it. He sounds very similar to this. Honestly, Sarek and this character, minus the war stuff, very, very similar. Like if you raised Sarek as a Romulan, he would be like this. And I think if you raised this Romulan as Sarek with Vulcans, he would be like that. So yeah, Mark Leonard is a treasure. And yeah, he returns in season 2 as Spock's dad, which for me would have been so confusing. And I'm like, do we know that's the Romulan from season 1?
do we have anyone else that could have played that? But to me, you know what it felt like is when you've got someone that just resonates really great on screen, you want him to come back.
Yeah, I would just
we're just going to have you be Spock's dad. It kind of reminds me of Khan in a way, the person who plays Khan.
Yes, Ricardo Montalban. Yeah.
There are certain energies on screen that are really captivating, and this one was very, very interesting. The approach of, like, I kind of missed the manicness of domination. Like, Khan's character is just manic, almost.
Oh, yes.
Like
psychotic.
Manic driven by domination.
Megalomaniac.
Yeah. And then, but this version of the Romulan it's more free thinking, tactical.
He's tired of war as well. Like he is forced to engage his tactician's brain because his number one duty is to get home. But he's also exhausted by just being at war for a praetor that is just hungry for war. He's such a complex character. I love him.
It's a very complex character to introduce at the very beginning, but they're very smart to do it that way. Like you said, especially if, the idea is that he purposefully...
I don't have a question because
so cool.
What sold it for me this time, because obviously this is the most detailed I've watched. I've watched this one a lot. I probably say this a lot, but I think it's the one I've watched the most. But that could be a lot of episodes. But this is the first time I'm like writing about it as I'm watching it. And that early line, it's the only time I've remembered it, is him saying, I'm like, part of me hopes we don't make it home. And that's at the beginning of the episode when he's talking to his first officer. And he's like, don't worry, I know my duty well enough. We'll make it home. I'm not on a suicide mission. And then to bring that to the end where he doesn't make it home, kind of fulfilling that wish in manifesting like that wish that he spoke out loud.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it's allowing the guy that has political influence and he has to be careful with, it's kind of like, so be it. If this is the system I'm in, this is what you get.
So just thinking about my first point being kind of about the introduction of Romulans and just this perspective that we get to have about what this episode has done, whether it knew it was going to blow out into what it became or not. The Romulans,
how could
like, did they know? 15, who knows?
15th
no
episode.
Way. But we know. Do you feel like Romulans going forward are that we see a character like this commander in future Romulan characters? Because for me, the Romulans sort of become that expected stereotype of I am bad guy and there is no redeeming quality, so it's easier to watch our TNG crew kill them. And instead of having the diverse empathy that we can have for someone raised inside of a warmongering sort of group. So it's really interesting because I'm not coming up with another example of the Romulans being so complicated.
No,
Did we see the only one? Like what?
This is what's crazy. It's that usually you start with, excuse the pun, a skin of evil, and it's just evil, evil, evil. And then the interesting thing is to bring some complexity and make them, they're just like us. They just have a different way of thinking, and there are good Romulans. But we are starting with a clear enemy, but he's a good guy, and he's like, Kirk, we could have been friends. Like, I respect you so much by how you conducted yourself in this battle. Like, I want to be with you, man. I want to know more about you. And it's the way he talks throughout the whole thing. He's just this old general that's just tired of it. And he's so complex, and he just reminds me of Picard. Like, he reminds me of Picard's command style. Picard had to be at war. And it's so interesting to see what TNG does with the Romulans, which is just to capitalize on them being a scary, scary bad guy.
The new Klingon. The
new Klingons, essentially, because now we're allies with the Klingons. And TNG, as much as I love Romulan episodes, I love them for a different reason. Like, it's easy to love them because they are the villains and it's very easy. But this is so much more complex and so much more realistic as well, and so much more what I believe it would be like. But, I mean, the main Romulan bad guy that we see in TNG is called Tomalok. And he's just he doesn't have a mustache, but he is a mustache twirling. Just every line he says is like sadistic and, oh, come now, Captain. We were never really in any danger of you hurting us, but it would be a shame if your ship happened to be injured just while we were in the area. Like, that's the kind of Romulan that we get. So they're very, very intelligent, but
not like
there's no mutual respect, really. There's one that Geordi bumps into when they're stranded on a planet. They end up respecting each other, but honestly, that Romulan's a bit of a dummy. Like, he's not super duper smart. He's just following orders.
What about the Romulans in Picard?
Romulans in Picard, it's completely different because their entire, I think they've been...
Because I remember them being kind of
reclusive.
They're more like covert, sort of spy-like.
Yeah, we only really see...
Isn't one of Data's daughters being trained by the Romulans?
More like, what do you call it? Take advantage of somebody that's young and like... Grooming. She's being groomed, essentially, by this Romulan. Narek?
That sounds right. Wow. Hello, Subconscious.
Yeah, I think I just pulled that one out.
This episode our episode should be called Subconscious.
The Subconscious Balance of Terror. Narek, something like that, and he's the pretty boy Romulan. But we really just see the Tal Shiar and the other Romulan sects. What are they called? It's escaped me, but it's even more secret than the Tal Shiar. Right.
They're more like covert and still trying to be powerful and dominating, but not.
We don't see the day-to-day Romulans. We don't really see Romulans. We just see the covert, sneaky. Because Picard just villainized them, as in the show Picard villainized them as much as TNG did.
Yeah, I just found that really, really interesting. I'm glad to talk about it.
Yeah, Nemesis is the only one that brings some complexity back. The movie Nemesis, and that's because the Remans are rising up against the Romulans, so there ends up being this alliance between Starfleet and Romulus, and there's a Romulan called Denatra who comes to the rescue and is like, we're gonna drink Romulan ale after this, Captain Picard, this is great, let's go. And she's great, and she gets developed in the books after the fact. It's one of my favorite things about Star Trek books. They do the things that episodes of TV can't, so the books definitely have more of this. But yeah, you're right. In the 90s, the Romulans were just mustache twirling bad guys for the most part.
So, and I like your point because I was thinking the same thing. This being the initial episode gives them more complexity.
Blows my mind.
Than they're kind of given later on. But for the storytelling of the time, it makes sense. Like, you just you want to have a bad guy.
No, I think, for the 90s. Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
This is way ahead of the times for the 60s.
Yeah.
Way
it's
ahead.
Great. It's great. Well, I'm ready to shift to my second point, which I think we're going to be really excited to talk about.
I mean, I was really excited to talk about the lore dump of the Romulans, so yeah, let's go.
I think we have to talk about the battle. Now, there's a lot of angles on this. There's the ship.
Much.
There's the crew. There's how it's very like cat and mouse. There's how it's basically like a submarine battle, but in space.
I love that you said that before I got to say it. It is. This is why we like submarine battle movies. Spoiler, this is why The Wrath of Khan is an incredible movie that you will end up loving. Submarine battles are fun. Space battles are just submarine battles. Like, there's a reason we love this.
Hunt for the Red October.
Hunt for Red October. One ping
space.
only, please. Like, it is so intoxicating to have this cat and mouse, and that's why the cloaking is always a fun mechanic.
Oh, yeah. I thought they did a really good job of going cloaking, but then when they're cloaked, they can't fire because why would they not? And they're just trying to figure out this brand new bad guy. And I loved that when they said they lost him at one point in time. I'm typing in my notes like, it's because they're not moving. And it's like, it's because they're not moving. I'm like, yes, I knew it.
There we go.
I knew it.
I'm a tactician. I could do this.
No, I don't know. I mean, it's like, there's so many things I'm like, oh yeah, you fired on space and your phasers hit it. I don't, that seems like crazy. But it's also just really fucking fun.
It's really fun, but there's such an easy fix because don't say, okay, we're only 15 episodes in. They don't have all of the words lined up yet, so it doesn't matter. But if you say torpedoes, it makes so much more sense because the torpedoes
like a blast
detonate.
Radius.
A phaser beam just like kind of...
On the screen, it looks cool because it kind of buffs out. Like there's a little
the screen looks like a photon torpedo. Like that's what it looks like. And that makes more sense because it's like a depth charge. If you detonate one of those, the shockwave is going to do damage.
Yeah.
A phaser, I just imagine just going past if it misses.
But yeah, we got to dig into this battle.
Yeah, let's go.
It's so fun. There's all kinds of moves and maneuvers and shots of the different interiors of the different crews reacting and the captains that are leading in these various ways. And it was extremely fun to watch, which I think I am a bit surprised by because sometimes I check out on battles, but I think 100%. Because it wasn't just a normal spaceship shooting on spaceship and then just evasive maneuvers. It's not just that there's so much more kind of going on. And then the added complexity of Spock just making a simple mistake and someone, there's all this, tension about if Spock is who the crew thinks that they are. And maybe even the viewer 15 episodes in, were they wrong about Spock the whole time? Has he been a spy since episode 1? I have one question before we kick off into like your thoughts on the battle and like maybe some of like just what you were thinking as you were rewatching this and just the fun of how they go about this battle. It seems to be that there's a very important moment when the Romulan ship sends a message, and I totally am misunderstanding what. I know that the guy that sent the message got in trouble.
Yeah.
From the Romulan captain, he got demoted a couple.
The Romulan commander.
The Romulan commander. Thank you. But I'm misunderstanding because that's why Enterprise thought that there was a spy, is because a message was being sent between ships. Okay.
No. First of all, Styles saying there might be a spy on the ship and Sulu agreeing. That line purely exists because in a few seconds the Romulans are going to be on screen and they have pointy ears like Spock. Okay. I don't know what evidence they're pulling from other than he must just be assuming that the only way the Romulans were able to take out those bases is if a spy has been feeding the Romulans information about the bases. Nothing to do with the Enterprise specifically.
I thought it was about the Enterprise. Like, why would the Romulans not be firing on the Enterprise unless one of their spies is on board?
Oh, that could be.
That's what I thought.
That could be it. But no, I just took that. It's more an artifact of we need to lay some suspicion against Spock, and that's going to like eat in on itself.
No matter what, that could be, could not be. What was the message?
So the message, you remember what Uhura, that's what Uhura is tapping into. It was like, there's a coded message. Like, I can hear that. That's how they get a lock on them. This was that the blue Centurion guy who gets demoted. He's sucking up to Daddy, and he messages the Praetor telling him how successful the attacks on the bases went, because he wants to be the one to tell him.
It. Okay.
And then Mark Leonard, the Romulan commander, says, "You've broken the code of silence or the rules of silence. You're demoted."
Okay.
And he says, "Yeah, I just wanted to tell the Praetor how successful our glorious mission had been." Like, he wants to be the one to share the success.
Okay, that's now clear. That'll help me as I dissect my thoughts on. So where do you want to start with the battles? Like,
oh man,
do we just jump through and do we do it bit by bit? Do we do our because there's so much to talk about, but it was extremely fun.
It was so fun. I want to hear like why you thought it was fun as well. So I think we just go through it kind of bit by bit and just kind of pick out what really connected to you. One overall thought that I have about why this one works so well, and why it's so rarely replicated, is because Star Trek very, very often, especially in TNG and Voyager, falls into the trap of, how do we get out of this? Let's divert the neutron flow to the secondary phaser buffer, and then if we can invert a tachyon beam, that's going to expose them, and then maybe that meteor will inverse the graviton flow of something, and then we can escape that way. There is minimal gibberish in this. There is actual battle tactics that happen, and actual, like, okay, what's that commander thinking right now? Move, counter move, thinking 3 steps ahead. This is an actual game of chess that's being played out without needing... The only technobabble is the big weapon and the cloaking device. And the cloaking device isn't technobabble. It's just, I'm invisible now. It's radar. It's like I can evade the radar. It's the same thing. They have a big nuke. Like, that's what we're talking about. Like, it's so easy to follow because it doesn't rely on any technobabble. I love that. I think that's why it stands out.
I really didn't think about that too much, but you're absolutely right. And I mean, them going into the trail of the asteroid was probably my favorite part of the entire battle.
Right.
What about you? Like, do you have a favorite? Because that's my favorite part.
It's great. While I think about my favorite, let's just talk about that one, because the layers to that.
To the asteroid, going into the asteroid?
Are so fun, because it could have been a very typical, it's in the asteroid's tail, now we spotted it and shoot it. But the commander deliberately does that because he knows that Kirk will follow the bait. But Kirk doesn't realize he's being baited. And it's so interesting to have, because I'm with Kirk. I'm like, you've got him. Good job. And it's only when we're on the Romulan ship that I'm like, oh, wait, no, he knows. And that is, to have characters be smarter than you for a minute is really satisfying for me. The Romulan commander sees that the Enterprise is out of position. So Kirk and the Romulan commander have both made a move here, but it's not the move that the other expected. So the commander reckons that Kirk is going to move out of position as soon as he's visible, not knowing that Kirk has already moved out of position to get a better angle. But the commander figures that out first before they turn visible, does a 180, and is like, okay, swing around and attack. And Kirk's like, they're not visible. Fuck, he figured me out. We're going to do a 180 and attack. Like, there are 3 levels of figuring out each other's plan. Whoa, it's so good.
It's so good that we can actually see it in our imaginations too.
Yes.
Because the modern storytelling shows us on screen what's happening. CGI would have all of this appearing in front of us. We would see the ship stop. We would see the some kind of a way of seeing the invisible ship stop at the very last possible second and not enter the asteroid stream because the idea here is that there's a chance that the Romulan bird thinks that the Enterprise is an echo of itself somehow.
Yes.
In their systems.
Which is what Kirk is banking on them thinking.
And that's exactly what Kirk wants. And so then they're kind of going along, and then they move, and then it moves. So this asteroid moment, for a split moment, is a chance for them to actually test their sensors, because if the Romulan bird goes in and the Enterprise goes in, he's prepared. Either it is a sensor blip and it's just an echo, or it's somebody following me. But his hunch is that it is somebody, like this is a tactical person. Yeah. And the idea of Kirk is developing in the commander's mind. And there's a respect that we get to see him have. So when the commander of the Romulan ship, the second he realizes that there's no more, the echo is not following the same course, he's like, now I know, instantly pulls out of the asteroid so that he can't be seen, And Kirk is like, gonna sneak around. They go through it. It's on screen. It looks really cool. They come out the other side and they're surprised. But as soon as Kirk sees that there's nothing there, knowing that there should be, then he figures it out.
It's so great.
And he's like, fire. It's now.
Yeah.
And so he fires first, which is great. Mm-hmm. And that ends up working in their favor.
It's even more than that, because the Romulan commander says the Earthship sensors won't be able to penetrate the field, which means they won't be able to match positions. So if it's a reflection, the positions will match no matter what, because it's just an echo. But as soon as the Enterprise loses the ability to see them or to like scan them,
right,
then they're going to drift and they're going to be somewhere else. But before that drifting can happen, the Romulan commander realizes
it's already gone.
It's vanished entirely. Oh fuck! He knows what I'm gonna do. And then he's Kirk is like, oh fuck! He knows what I know that he knows that I know. Shit!
It's so fun.
Clever. Like, you can just stop at any one of those points and it's still fun. But to do like 3 layers of gotcha, he got me. It shows the pair of them just being really smart. And in our
fully in our minds, that we can kind of see it and know, and that they've done a great job to give us as much on screen as they can give us. And even though we have a chance to do the remastered version and do even more, they still pull it back. They're not really adding too much. Yeah. It's just maybe the phasers look a little bit more blue and poofy and cute.
The comet tail looks better.
I don't know. The comet tail, exactly. Yeah. So that is a really fun revisitation of really great storytelling, because that battle would have looked totally different if we were to have been able to see it.
I think you'd have done it too much, and people think that we need lots of phasers, lots of like outside maneuvers and crazy stuff and busy, but there is a simplicity to not having that available to you where you have to make it entertaining some other way.
Both of the ships have power reserves.
Yes.
Which is very much something that we would see in storytelling like this in the time, because there wasn't sort of this idea of unlimited power. And I think that's so important, because if you build a ship or you build a character as you're writing anything and you give them too much power, then where does the story go if there isn't an opposition to that, or if there isn't an ability for that person to develop anything? Because not having power, not having authority, not having control is what forces character growth, or it forces conflict. And so they were just really smart to give both ships limitations. And what's interesting is part of the limitations, like you said, is the lack of development of the technobabble that would have over-explained what we didn't need to have over-explained, because the simplicity of the storytelling is genuinely all we needed to do in this particular episode. So, that was my favorite move. That was my favorite tactical move. I love,
it's a great one.
I love the way that they're all kind of gathered around a central console on the Romulan ship, and then gathered around in the ways like each bridge is sort of doing things differently, but also the same. And there's a lot of fun. No,
it's really satisfying. And that leads into a really tense moment. And you mentioned earlier, not being bored by like the space battle when sometimes that happens.
Yes.
I feel the fear in this episode a lot. So whenever they go to battle stations, there is a breath where we see people go to battle stations, which so rarely happens. And we see the phaser deck and the midship as well. And there's like engineers in the midship that are bracing their things. Down in phaser control, they're doing their stuff. We see people walk and run around the ship when they call alert, because this means something. Like, this is like a submarine, a military vessel going to battle. Like, it's not just shields up, red alert. Which becomes the trope. Like, we see them get to their stations and what that means. And as soon as the comet stuff stops, the Enterprise's phasers have burned out, which gives the Romulans the opportunity to fire their weapon. And they do that about turn and run, but they know they're being overtaken. They jettison the log buoy because something has to survive, like get rid of the black box so that Starfleet can know what happened here. The yeoman, like, being terrified, like, there's so much in there that feels
real,
dangerous and real.
Yeah. I mean, you even have whoever the plaited hair girl is come up and be like, "This is my last hug, Captain."
Oh, the yeoman. Yeah, Yeoman Rand. And it's, and like,
do you have time for sex before we die?
He always has time. But unfortunately, McCoy is going to be here and he'd rather have sex with McCoy.
Who wouldn't?
Who wouldn't? But the resolution to that for me, I love as well, because it's not just it missed, or the worst thing that can happen is that it hits and it's not super bad.
Exactly.
But it exposes a flaw in the weapon that it eventually dissipates.
It eventually has to run out of the power that it has, which allows them to just basically scoot back enough.
Exactly.
Why not
Keep
scoot left or right? We don't know.
Because it's big and homing.
Apparently.
They're always homing. That's what they are. Yeah, that's really, really, it's so fun. The debris thing is one of the other tactics that I really, really love.
Oh, yeah.
The debris thing is so fun.
It works. So there's 2 times when the Romulan ship is like, we got to look like we're like hit. And you think about how would this look in a sub battle? You know, you just start jettisoning out all the tubes.
Yeah. But they have like debris tubes. Like, this is a tactic they're ready to use.
I was thinking about like, if you hit a ship, it's going to have debris that kind of comes up to the surface.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a perfect way of showing like, oh, we can just launch some stuff out here. It looks like we fell apart, but we didn't actually fall apart. I'm even going to launch my buddy out into space so they can see a body. So crazy.
And maybe it's just like, it's enough to, because what that does is it doesn't trick the Enterprise because they know there's not enough mass. But while the Enterprise is scanning the debris, that's when the Warbird slips away and is able to hide. So it's just enough to give them some breathing room.
Do it quick. Yeah, they kind of stop and they sniff it, and then they. So let's talk about the stop and sniff moment for the nuclear bomb.
Yes.
Okay, how does this work?
Okay.
So they launch the Romulans launch out in their second debris tactic a nuke essentially.
Yep, leave a nuke in there.
And was the idea that it was just going to drift over and hit them somehow?
No, so I think they don't spell it out, which I love, but my instinct here is that the metallic thing that is intact, he was hoping that the Enterprise would lock onto that as actually part of the Romulan ship. So it's like there's debris, solid metal thing, that's part of the Romulan ship, shoot it.
And they do.
And it's they just like knee-jerk go, that's what it is. Don't think about it. Fire, not realizing.
It's only 500.
It's a nuke. 100 meters away.
Yeah. So they were really close.
They were super fucking, they were on the debris.
They were literally within sneezing distance of each other in this battle.
So yeah, well, at that moment they are for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like super close.
So what
I
really
like to picture is that maybe they're thinking part of the cloak has failed. And either way, we're detecting something metallic, fire on it, because that's got to be what it is. Maybe they fucked up and not realizing that it's such a beautiful trap. It's an incredible trap.
It was
it's
a tricky
so
trick.
Yeah, I love, and it's just like little tactics like that are so satisfying, even when it's against the bad guys. I'm like, it serves you fucking right. And at that point, they're both like, the Enterprise is kind of stuck, but the Romulan ship doesn't know how stuck they are because their mirror reappears.
Yeah.
So like, oh shit, they survived, which means it's not safe to move. So they're both frozen for 9 hours waiting for the other to make a move.
I loved that part.
Oh, it's so good.
But I didn't love that Spock's accidental activation of the doo-doo device is worse than the beeps and blips that were still going on. Because I think there were still beeps and blips. At least I wrote it down like, well, then shut off your beeps. If you're trying to go silent, turn off the beeps and blips. Just shut up. Yeah, stop it all. We don't need that. But anyway, I love the battle. It was a super, super fun thing. Is there anything else you want to talk about on the battle specifically? Because it was just, it was tactical fun. I love that they respected each other, that they both kind of had this, that's not what I would do. Like Kirk is like, I wouldn't do that. So they're both in each other's minds, you know?
Maybe they think the Enterprise is destroyed. Well, I wouldn't think that, so I'm not going to assume that.
Exactly.
There are so many great lines where like the Romulan commander was like, I must use all of my experience to get home. Like he's having to pull on everything to outthink Kirk.
Including launching his buddy out.
Including launching his buddy out into space. Oh, and just Mark Leonard carrying the gravitas of that. Yeah, I guess if there's one thing that's disappointing, it is the blind firing, but it's also perhaps what you do on a submarine as well. It's just fire a ton of depth charges out there and just see which one hits. And it does work. Like, it takes them out of action enough.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And I mean, you have to go, well, if this is all we can do, let's just do it and see what happens. And if it works, great. If it doesn't work, we'll figure it out.
The framing of these tactics, like, can't be understated either. The reason there is such a game of cat and mouse around the neutral zone is this idea of, well, if the Enterprise goes into the neutral zone and into Romulan space and attacks, it looks like we were aggressive. And it gives them every right to just fire everything at us.
Yeah.
If the Romulan ship
is on our side,
maybe there's some diplomacy to be had because we're not looking for a war. And maybe that's enough for us to avoid a war because, hey, they were in our space and we dealt with them. And the Romulans can say, oh, yeah, just a rogue ship. Sorry about that. Really apologize.
Yeah, we don't really know what happened to those bases. And they didn't see us. So because we were so sneaky, there's no proof that it was the Romulans.
Yeah.
The Enterprise engaging.
Hit us.
Yeah. It's just a weird thing. It's just, the Enterprise got destroyed. We don't know by what. And the Romulans can just, at that point, they would be able to say, we didn't have anything to do with it. Like, we were on our side the whole time.
If the Enterprise is destroyed, then it's like, oh, we can take out the Enterprise. We can take out one of their ships. Cool. Let's just send everything then. Fuck them.
Yeah.
But I love that. And it informs so many decisions about when Kirk has to attack as well. Like, okay, they're on our side. This is when we have to attack. We have to push the advantage now before they get too far away from us. And it forces the tension as well. Instead of this just being, when's the right time to attack? It's like, oh no, we have to attack now because if they get back home, this isn't good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really, really fun to watch, which I was surprised by. I was just genuinely surprised that I was enjoying it as much as I was enjoying it.
I love it. I could see you typing and I was reading your messages and you're like, I am so invested.
I was so invested towards the end. I was
Kirk.
like, get him, Kirk, get
Fucking
him.
get him. Love it. All right, Ambassador, what's your third point?
I don't really know what my third point really is specifically, except for just don't get married on a ship. But
I mean, never do that, especially at the beginning of an episode. Never do that. Never start an episode like that.
That's real bad.
I think my third point would be the moral question of when is it right to attack, because that frames this battle in such an interesting way, and it speaks to like Kirk's hesitance, because the instinct is don't pick a fight, don't start a fight, don't like try and get peace as the shortest route to peace is kind of like Starfleet's idea. And at the top of the episode, Kirk spells out that Starfleet says under no circumstances are we to repeat the war that happened 100 years ago. Whatever happens, like, you are not to fire on the Romulans, don't attack them. If it means you go down, great, but we will keep the peace. And that's not always possible. Like, that kind of speaks back to appeasement during the build-up to World War II. It was, well, just maybe Hitler will stop at Czechoslovakia. Maybe Hitler will stop at Poland. Maybe if we give him a little bit, you know what? World War I was kind of rough on the Germans. Maybe we do need to give them a little bit more. But he never stopped. And that appeasement, if we hadn't appeased Hitler, who knows, different histories and whatnot, maybe there never would have been a World War II. Maybe if he wasn't allowed the time to build up Germany's military infrastructure, it wouldn't have been this 5-year war where millions of people died. So it's not just as simple as keeping the peace, and that's throughout this episode of, will destroying one ship send enough of a message to stop a war? And I love that A Quality of Mercy, the Strange New Worlds episode, doubles down on that and proves the point. Obviously, they're writing the story so they can prove whatever they want, but proves that if that ship had escaped, it did mean war.
This is a really important part of this episode. I'm glad that this is the third point to talk about, because when you're watching it and Kirk is kind of questioning things at the beginning,
yes,
and even the commander of the Romulan ship is questioning things in a certain way.
Why are we just at war?
It starts off with that. When is it right? When is it wrong? And maybe the Romulan ship kind of knows that they're in the wrong because they went over and they've killed all these people that were doing them no harm.
Yeah.
And so, but our ship is figuring out what is and isn't true. Is it a Romulan? Is it not? They finally get something on view screen. They finally have some proof of a certain kind to have the confidence to make these kinds of hard decisions about whether to engage or not. And for me, it wasn't really like a comfortable decision to make until they had the powwow at the table and fucking Spock is like, we attack.
It's just great, like, isn't it?
Holy shit.
They do so much work getting the emotion out of that moment because it's Styles, who's been a bigoted asshole, understandably fine, whatever. And he's the one pushing attack. And for Spock to agree with him, it raises your level of respect for Spock. Yeah. Because it's like, even this guy that fucking hates me, I see his logic and I agree with him. And he has the knowledge of, if they are
who I
Vulcans,
think they are,
centuries ago, millennia ago, we don't want to fuck with them and we don't want to show weakness. Like, this is where we have to give them a bloody nose so that we're not bullied. Oh, so good.
And that confidence that the show has given for that line to be delivered by Spock is incredibly important.
In just 14 episodes, we know so much about Spock, and you can feel it in, yes, we have so many years of knowledge now, but you can feel it in that moment that the entire room is like, wait, what?
Yeah, I said, wait, what?
Yeah.
I mean, and part of it too that comes into play is this is when they introduce the history of the Vulcans' blood, right?
Yes.
And so it takes it from, it's this episode's version of making the bad guy, where there might not be a reasoning element with this type of a entity, this type of a group of people. And Spock is delivering this information. And because we trust him in this logical approach and his knowledge of history and this new knowledge of the history of his blood, there's a gravity to it. And you're like, oh shit, if he's saying that,
he's the only one in the room that knows, much like Styles has just been saying, like, maybe we should ask Mr. Spock. What do you mean by that, mister? Are you trying to compliment his decoding abilities?
I loved that part.
Oh, it's Kirk is like just oozing charisma throughout this episode. Leave your bigotry in your quarters, mister. There's no room for it on the bridge. Nice. Oh, that's a classic line. That is an all-timer, much repeated line.
You know how people will like cross stitch, like Bible quotes.
Yes,
I want a cross stitch of that one. That.
And it's just instead of like Luke 4:12, it's Kirk season 1 episode 10.
Yeah, it's Kirk 1:10.
Yes. Oh, I need that throughout the house.
I want that so bad.
Let's do that as cross-stitch Star Trek. I'm going to cut that out of the episode because that's a multi-million-dollar business.
Oh my God, let's do it.
No, they do so much work to get to that moment. I respect everyone's opinion. Sulu
was great.
Sulu
really
has great
enjoyed Sulu.
counterpoints.
Uhura, I guess, was needed on the bridge.
Uhura gets to sit in the front seat.
She gets to sit in the front seat.
Let's go.
We definitely saw some butt cheek too, and I was like, she is so beautiful. And then like her skirt is so high.
Yeah,
I really respect the bravery. Like I don't usually let people see my thighs like that, but she's just on display. But I love that she was
had much of a choice
in the camera. She was like, listen, I just want to like quick shout out to the cinematography.
Let's go.
I love the framing that they do in this show.
It's let me in tell this episode specifically, it
is not something that I think about on TNG, but the drama of how they shoot these scenes is so important and it's so fun. And there could be an entire like study done on, just like we talk about storytelling and how it's developed over time. Cinematography has developed over time as well. I mean, obviously there's ways that we used to shoot things and then now we shoot things differently and blah, blah, blah. But just the framing of like the woman at the end who's on her knees and she's in the chapel and she's sad about her man that has died. And then the door opens and it's just the silhouette of Kirk. It's like every fucking shot and how
Mother has arrived.
It's so fun. Like screenshot that. That's a screen grab. That's a screen grab because or like when they're all looking at the view screen and they're all perfectly placed. You've got kind of Spock just like draped over this and looking, really intensely towards the screen, and you've got just everyone knows where to turn.
The blocking is
so great, and I love the colors. Everything is fun to look at. All of the bleeps and the boops and the clicks and the bops and the dupes and then everything, and then the light across his eyes. And I don't know, it was just working for me. This is probably my favorite episode of TOS.
Oh, let's go!
Right? Like, can there be another episode of TOS that's better than this? I don't think so.
As I've said, it's the one I think it is the one I've watched the most. I think it is my favorite. I mean, I really like Space Seed, but there's always something I got to say about it. But Balance of Terror is perfect.
Rarely do I say start somebody on this one. But I feel like if you're going to introduce someone to TOS, start them on this one.
Yeah.
Start them with a bang so that they know the kind of
what
captain that Kirk can be,
yes.
and how the crew is. And I love it. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy. That's my favorite thing, especially when it's, you love whatever the hell you love, but especially when it is a classic episode that everyone loves, for you to join that as well is so great. Don't be worried. People love the Darmok episodes, but for you to because this one, I get it. When you say like you don't like Darmok, I actually get it. There are bits of it that are pretty boring and fine. It's just metaphors. But this one, it's hard for me to defend how it isn't good. I can't see an angle where any of this is disappointing or isn't trying to do something really complex. It's written beautifully. I'm just... The scene that catches me off guard, and it is in this like in-between moment where Kirk is in his quarters, it's been 9 hours, he's like feeling vulnerable, he's like, he's had enough time. Like the beauty of setting that scene after the 9-hour wait is that he's had 9 hours to dwell on, what am I going to do? And the longer you have to think about a decision, the more you can talk yourself in and out of it.
Yeah.
And then McCoy comes in.
Ooh, yeah, he does.
And just has this line where he's like, I'm going to tell you something that I don't say many of my customers. I love how he just sees himself as a carpenter sometimes.
I know. He said customer. And I was like, is he talking? Was this like somebody that he, like,
patience,
what?
But he's just talking about all of the millions of planets, all of like, theoretically, there's this many habitable worlds.
3 million.
This many galaxies out there or more. And of all of those people, he's basically saying there's just one Kirk. Like, there's a reason it's you in this moment.
And that plays so well into that Strange New Worlds episode, doesn't it?
I mean, that gives me chills because when I was watching Quality of Mercy, I don't have this memorized line by line, but that is so clearly why they picked Balance of Terror to do this spin, because McCoy is just sharing this. If there's one man who should be the captain right now, it's Kirk. Like, and again, we are 14 or 15 episodes. Actually, the public is 14 episodes in. They've seen 14 episodes of Kirk, 14 hours of him, but McCoy has known him for a decade plus. And it's like, if there's anyone that needs to be in the captain's chair right now, it's you. Whatever choice you make is the right choice because you're Captain Kirk. Oh, it's so good. That's so good. That's like season 7 type shit. Like, but he's already a legend. It's just great. Don't destroy the one named Kirk. And it's like the way that's phrased is like the gods are saying, whatever happens, protect this man because he will save the galaxy. Oh, it's crazy. It's so good. So well written.
Well, we have to go watch Strange New Worlds now. So
we really do.
Any last thoughts before we wrap up today's really great episode?
I did just catch one of your notes while we were watching, and it was, not Spock is handsome. And my reply was like, I think you just like pointy ears. You just seem to be attracted to Vulcans and Romulans. Tell me more. How attractive is Mark Leonard?
He's beautiful.
He is.
It's weird that it's Leonard, right? Like Leonard Nimoy.
Leonard Nimoy and Mark Leonard. Different
what
spelling, but yeah, I love that. Oh, he is so perfect.
I was really enjoying how he was acting. I really liked how he portrayed this character.
Yeah, he's charismatic as fuck.
Exactly. I think I'm attracted to charisma.
I think that's what it is.
I think that's
high charisma stat.
I think that's yeah. In D&D, I have
in D&D. Which stat does the Romulan commander not have maxed out? I think he's min-maxed everything.
Okay, let's think about this.
Charisma 10, intelligence 10.
He's pretty wise.
Wisdom
because he's trying to prevent a war.
10. I get
strength.
15 is probably better because 10 is just medium in D&D. Strength, I guess that's because he's a Romulan.
He pulled something off of his buddy.
He's got the Vulcan strength, so he pulls that. So he's got a 15 for strength as well.
Dexterity.
Dexterity.
Maybe he's not very dexterous.
Maybe.
Maybe he tanked his dex score.
Mental dexterity is great, but also he's a fucking Romulan in a stealthy ship. Like
Constitution. I feel like maybe he could have had better constitution.
I don't know. Romulans and Vulcans have incredible constitution.
We don't know about him though.
Him specifically. Maybe he chose to absolutely tank his dexterity and constitution.
Yeah. If I was a Romulan, that's my 2 dumping stats.
Yeah, dump stats of constitution. Because you have a natural +5.
Exactly.
Another point, the Romulans have the same rocks in bulkheads that Starfleet does.
They sure
use
do.
The same technology to transfer the dilithium flow throughout the ship.
Yeah, they needed those.
Is it the Argonaut rocks? Something.
They needed those for their debris.
All right, Ambassador. Well, incredible episode. I am so happy that you love it so much. I really, really am. It is such a joy to watch you get hooked on an episode, especially something from 1960 flipping 6.
Yeah, it was really fun to feel it. and to not like to give into an episode is really, really fun. So, when it was starting to kick off and I was like, let's go, come on. I thought, oh my God, I'm like really invested in this. I was really surprised. And I like to type those things out as they're happening so that there's just like, kind of record of how I'm feeling.
This is the moment where she says, I'm invested.
I am into this.
Okay, well, it's 4 pips from both of us. Man, this season, what I've loved about this season so much is confirming why these are incredible episodes for me personally as well. Like for me, every single one of these is an absolute hit. I love them. I love Star Trek. It is so fun to do a full season of stuff that I know I'm going to enjoy selfishly.
I know. Well, that's to be said. We know you're going to love it. We don't know if I'm going to love it. So I'm really glad to be enjoying it too.
That's awesome. Okay, bit of a gamble next week. I want to say we have 2 episodes left. I've made a decision. There is 1 episode that is on every single list that we will not be covering.
Okay.
The episode, and I want to mention it because it will be a kind of a surprise. It will be like, wait, you didn't do this? And it's The Visitor from Deep Space Nine. The reason I've decided to not do this episode will not be a surprise to anybody who's familiar with the Ambassador. For me, like, I tortured myself over this because it was just borderline enough. But The Visitor deals with a parent-child relationship that
thank you.
Just think is going to be too much. And
I appreciate that you know me.
It's an episode I want to watch with the Ambassador at some point. I don't think in a public setting is the right way to do it. I can't imagine how we dissect The Visitor in a way that isn't just too much right now. So we won't be covering The Visitor. It 100% deserves to be on this list. It is on this list. It's just not one that we're going to do an episode about. Same with The Offspring in TNG. We're just not going to be covering it anytime soon. I'll most likely cover it with a guest or something. Having said that, we are going to be returning to Deep Space Nine next week with Season 1, Episode 9, Duet. This is the last one that has appeared consistently on all of the lists that I've looked at. It is a great episode, very nuanced episode. I cannot wait to hear what the Ambassador thinks about this very early episode of Deep Space Nine. But until next week, you can send us your thoughts, theories, qualms, and all kinds of things about our hot takes, our bad takes, our great takes, whatever you want, to iananddeneé@gmail.com. Join our lovely Discord. That link is in the description. And if you want an ad-free version of the show, you can go to patreon.com/iananddeneé and send us some of your Gold Press Latinum in exchange for no adverts and your own dedicated podcast feed. And you know what? Just like some extra content. Who knows? Maybe we're going to watch Strange New Worlds right now and then share some thoughts about it on Patreon. I want to do that. But until next week, I'm Captain Ian and I've used all of these quotes.
You sure have.
Yeah.
But I love it. I think it's important that you use them in the episode and then you really got to pull them out.
I'm Captain Ian, and I must use all of my experience to get home because you should leave bigotry in your quarters. There's no room for it on the bridge. And most of all, don't destroy the one named Kirk.
Wow, that is not the quote. That is not an actual quote. And I am Deneé, and it's Danger and I are old companions.
I can't believe I didn't pick one that you had. It's just such a good episode. Live long and Podsper.
Thanks for assimilating this episode of Captain's Pod. Leave us a review wherever you listen to your pods. And don't forget, our hailing frequencies are always open at iananddeneé@gmail.com. And then I think I'm just supposed to close this hailing frequency by pressing this little button. Okay, we're out!
Hello, crew. Captain Ian here. I just wanted to preface this first set of outtakes and give you the knowledge that we had 2 attempts at recording this episode this week. What you're about to hear is our first attempt at recording, which was immediately interrupted by a phone call calling us away. So all will be revealed. All is well, all is good. But just wanted to include our our first attempt at recording. You'll hear a completely different Captain's Pod intro to the one that you heard at the beginning of the show. slightly different banter, and a phone call that interrupts it, and we end up leaving and just decided instead of trying to get back into the flow, we just started the introduction all over again. But I can't waste this stuff, so I wanted you to listen to it as well. The reason we get pulled away is because I had the opportunity to go and fly a plane. The other reason I wanted to mention that is that we don't address it in the episode at all. So you might hear this and be like, Ian flew a plane and then didn't mention it at all in the actual episode. We'll talk about it in the outtakes next week. But yeah, enjoy our first attempt of recording the intro to this episode, plus a bit of outtakes from that attempt as well. We are recording.
It is 9 a.m.
I can't believe this. Is this the earliest we've ever recorded Captain's Pod?
Mm-hmm. We haven't had food. We're just having coffee. I think it's like the pendulum swing idea where you go too late and so the pendulum swings too far in the opposite direction and you do it too early and then you just hope that eventually it goes back into some sort of equilibrium.
Yeah, like what most people call a routine. But do we want to talk about why we're doing it at 9 a.m. on a Saturday?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Fucking weather, man. I moved to Missouri. So, wait, no, that sounds dumb. I was going to say I moved to Missouri for better weather, but I moved to Tornado Alley, so that's not what I mean. What I mean is that, like, it's not fucking grey and wet the whole time, but the last 3 weeks have been pretty grey and wet and stormy, and today it has had a consequence.
And that consequence is that we have to do the show?
Yes, because...
Okay, so what he wants me to tell you is that for his birthday this year, Iris and I decided to purchase him a first flight. So there's an organization that teaches people how to become private pilots, but they also will just do like a single flight. And so we got him that single flight that if he decides to go for his pilot license can still count towards his hours in this future realm where he becomes an actual captain.
I was just about to say, all of this is so that on Captain's Pod, I can finally actually be Captain.
So we've been looking forward to this for a long time. And then we're about to walk out the door and get a message that weather has redirected us. And so we're like awake and excited and about to run out the door. And then we're like, well, what are we going to do now? And then we both are like, it's Captain's Pod time.
We should record the show. We should just record Captain's Pod. That's what we should do instead.
So I'm sad that it happened, but it's also interesting. Like, will the show sound different? Do you, beloved listener, hear a difference when we record?
You will absolutely hear a difference in my voice because I have much more of a morning voice.
I have the morning voice going on for sure. Yeah. Part of me is very, very happy that they're the kind of people that pay attention to weather patterns so closely that they can know an hour plus in advance that it's not a good idea. Yeah,
I think they play it extra safe. I think if there's like moderate cloud cover, they don't take people up.
It is a great portion of me that's very happy that it's canceled for that reason. So so we're here, but you know what? We're going to pivot and this is what we're doing. And then I'm excited. As we've been doing this show, the leakage of Star Trek into our everyday lives, like when we were getting ready to go to this pilot thing, you were like, you're like, what should I wear? Because we've been joking around about you wearing like Star Trek uniforms.
The funny thing, you was just like, what Star Trek like kind of shirt are you gonna wear?
Because you have 2 or 3 like Star Trek just t-shirts.
So I said full TNG uniform.
Yeah,
that's not what you meant. You thought it was like novelty. I was like, no, I'm going in uniform. And then hopefully they'll know like which series I'm dressed as and like how serious I am. Captain's Pod, stardate 25/27/66.9. Welcome aboard the Starship Enterprise and thank you for joining us on our continuing voyages through the final frontier. I'm your Captain Ian Whittington and with me as always, she's very used to supporting a dead crew and a wrecked ship. It's Ambassador Deneé.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
You've tried that before, Commodore. The result was a wrecked crew and a dead ship. Wait.
No. Wait. I think it's the other way around.
Yep. All right, Ambassador, we are continuing our best ever episodes of Star Trek season as decided by the interwebs. We're getting into the nitty-gritty. This week, we've only got 3 episodes left, Ambassador. One of my favorite things to do this season is to try and remind you of an episode. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Who's this? They want to probably make sure you're not coming.
Probably. Hello? Yeah, speaking.
Oh my God. Okay, Captain's Pod people, you're right in the middle of it. We've just gotten a phone call that the flight is back on, so we're going to shut this shit down. We're going to go get into a plane. Well, he's going to go get into a plane, so wish him luck. Can you believe this?
Mid-recording, this is amazing.
Captain, let's go.
Will be in the air.
Let's go.
Maybe I won't return to record the episode.
Shut up. No, we're not going to have a health scare, and we're not going to have a flight scare, goddammit. Ian has been experimenting with becoming a farmer.
Yeah, I've been developing a hydroponics lab.
Yes, and outside the window that I can see, just like right on the other side of that beautiful, lovely flowering bush, is a planter that I know is growing vegetables.
You can see my vegetable planter?
No, in my imagination.
Oh,
like, I look out that window and there's several things I see. One, we definitely have spiders that have decided to build their web inside of our house.
Yes.
So I should probably clean that up at some point, but I'm just a disgusting human, I guess.
Me too.
Beyond the window, a beautiful flowering bush. Then in my imagination across the yard, like right there is your vegetable garden.
Just growing Leola roots and Neelix cheese and Rigelian pumpernickel.
We should rename all of our vegetables to Star Trek things.
Yes, just get them labeled.
Mm-hmm. So I'm happy. I'm happy because you're happy.
Yeah, I'm obsessively watching them every day. Like I'm nursing these seeds.
You walk outside, you go over, you got your little coffee, you lean over the planter that you built.
You watch me do it.
Yes, I do. And then you just you investigate them, you kind of touch them, you talk to them, you water them very gently. You add a little bit of like plant food to them, and then I
scold the ones that aren't growing. You fuckers. What are you doing? Get out of the dirt. Grow. And I built the planter from scratch.
You built the planter from scratch?
And it's bursting. I haven't told you this.
It's what?
Bursting. So in the middle, some of the wood is like, there's a gap in the wood.
Bowing out?
So some of none of the soil has leaked out yet, but the soil is visible. So I'm on the next one, I'm going to have to put some supports in that kind of keep the wood, because the wood isn't exactly straight. It bananas. So with the weather and the heat, it has bananaed a little bit more.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, but I can fix that on the next design, on the planter flyer.
I cannot believe that you didn't paint NCC something on the side of it.
Yeah, no, like, I want to paint it.
This is the shuttle.
Yeah. This is our little shuttle. Yeah, I absolutely should. I want to paint it grey. And the colour scheme is like a red strip along it as well. Yeah. NCC. USS Planter Prize. It sounds like the little Timmy from Christmas Carol. Kirk's nephew.
I have no idea.
Kirk's nephew. Flippin' heck. Kermit's nephew. He's like little tiny Tim, who's like dying.
Oh, I don't know.
Have you not seen A Christmas Carol?
I don't remember him doing anything that reminds me of what I just did.
He would just like talk. Really, Merry Christmas, one and all. Yeah, God bless us, everyone.
You sound a bit like Mickey Mouse's version of it.
Oh my God, we haven't even talked about the crazy man that followed us around Branson doing Mickey Mouse impressions. Oh my God,
he did not follow us around.
He did.
That man has a job.
Oh boy! That's the only thing he can do. Boy. And he is trading on that impression of Mickey Mouse, working at the Disney store, and then going to the fucking Butterfly Palace and just saying well done to random kids. Oh boy! Oh boy! Hot yes, dog. Sir! Hot diggity dog! I was very tempted to troll people with this season and pick deliberately terrible episodes and see how long it was until they caught on.
Oh my God!
But I just keep blaming
evil.
The list that I'm using, and it's just like, yeah, no, this list says it's one of the best. And then the reason I thought of that is because Cat's Paw is the next episode of TOS on the queue. And I'm like, if we'd have put Cat's Paw in, that would have been my number 10 episode that proves we were trolling people. People hate Cat's Paw. So the visitor, basically, Jake witnesses Cisco get vaporized by a warp core.
Okay.
Or they assume he's been vaporized. He's actually been he's jumping through time traveler's wife style.
Okay.
But he keeps jumping into Jake's future.
Okay.
So Jake will spend a few years searching for him, and then Cisco will appear. and then they get a few minutes together. Sisko gets an update on what Jake's been up to, and then he'll disappear, and then he'll jump further ahead to Jake as a grown-up, and Sisko returns and is like, fuck, Jake, how old are you now? What's happened? And then Sisko witnesses all of Jake's life.
Yikes.
And how he's basically wasted his life searching for Sisko.
Oh, like he doesn't become an author? He
does become an author, but he doesn't finish his book.
Oh.
So Anselm, the book that we see in Starfleet Academy, he's working on that book in The Visitor.
Oh,
but he never finishes it.
Because he's so sad.
He gets divorced, like his friends and family leave him.
Is he trying to find a way to like stop him and bring him out?
He's trying to bring him out, and he creates this bit of technology that brings Sisko to him.
Oh.
But then he loses him again. And then they get to like hug and hold each other, and Sisko is just seeing Jake as an old man and is like holding him, and he's just like, what? Like, I can't believe that you've like dedicated your life. Like, I've got a few minutes with you. What's happened in your life? And it just gets sadder and sadder as like Jake has just given everything
to try to get his
dad back. Oh man, it makes me want to cry. And yeah, eventually he creates this bit of technology that resets time and brings them back. But I think he witnesses like Jake die as well, like as an old man on his deathbed.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. And then it all goes back. But Sisko, much like the Inner Light, has to hold this memory of witnessing these snippets of Jake's life, and it just gives him a different perspective on like what Jake should do and be an author, and just it gives him a new appreciation for like, don't waste your life, Jake. Like, whatever happens, don't chase me.
Ugh.
Oh, and he's pleading with him. Live your life, let me go.
Stop it.
Right?
Just let me go.
Let me go.
Like, I'll never let you go,
but
Jack.
Then Sisko will poof, and every time he reappears, it brings out this energy of Jake's like, well, he's still out there. I'm going to rescue him. I'm not going to let go. And it's like every time he's about to let go, Sisko will poof back in again.
Jesus.
Fucking hell. Yeah. Won't be doing that episode. Sorry, guys.
Wow, that's a lot. It's a lot.
I will spare you from it.
Thank you. Ready to do the show?
Yep.
Captain's Pod. I just wanted to let you know that I'm paying attention and I remember what happens in the show. It's time to watch some Star Trek. Whoa.
Season 1.
Yep.
Okay, there we go. Yep. And dial her down.
Sorry.